Hello everyone, myself Professor Mugdha Vikas Badak and I'm going to discuss topic of strength of material. Now in this subject we are going to discuss unit 1. Name of the unit 1 is simple stresses and strains. In this unit we are going to discuss basic concepts of strength of material and basic definitions of strength of materials. Now let us discuss about strength of material. Strength of material is also called as a mechanics of material, and this strength of material subject which deals with the behavior of a subject which deals with the behavior of a solid object subjected to stresses and strain. When the component or the material is subjected to the external forces, then the stresses and strains will develop into the component, and we have to calculate or we have to identify the value of a stresses and strain of the particular member which is calculated or using strength of material. Okay, the another definition or another purpose of using this is the study of strength of materials often refers to various methods of calculating stresses and strains in structural member. What are those structural members? Structural members are like beams, columns, shaft and mechanical elements. There are variety of the mechanical elements are used in the machine, and due to external load, stresses and strains will develop into the material or the component, and we have to identify the value before the failure. So we are going to discuss this phenomenon in strength of materials. Before going to the rigid body, which is the next topic of the slide, we will take one example to discuss the strength of material. What this word indicates, strength of a material, we have to check ability of that particular material. Is it sustainable or not? After application of a external load, is it sustainable or not? It should carry the weight, particular weight or not? What is the maximum weight which is carrying by that particular component? So we are taking example of a chair. Now as we know, there are variety of materials are available in this world. So chair can be made up of plastic, wood or metallic, and different designs are also available for this chair. But what is the main purpose of using chair? We are using this chair for sitting purpose. When the load is applied over the chair in the form of weight of a human being, then as we know, variety of a weight or variety of a load is applied as the weight of a human being will changes. Then we have to check the capacity of the chair, if it should carry the weight or not. If it should carry the weight, then it is sustainable, means it is having more strength to carry the weight. If it is not carrying a particular weight or it is fail due to application of a external load, so we have to identify what is the maximum load which is carried by using your chair. This is the basic example of we have taken to discuss the strength of a material, which represents the strength of your particular material. Now we will move to the next topic, rigid body. What is a rigid body? Rigid body is called as a solid body in which deformation is zero, or it may be a very small deformation. So when it is a very small deformation, we can neglect this deformation. So rigid body, in this rigid body there is a no deformation. Okay, take an example of a particular body, and we are taking 2 points on that particular body, and if there is a no deformation between these 2 points, this is also called as a rigid body. But practically there is a no rigid body available in this world. While solving numericals or while solving numericals of mechanics, we are considering body as a rigid body, and then we are calculating various forces over the various forces which is acting over the body. So but practically it is not possible rigid body is not possible. Means some deformation you can identify due to application of a external load. What is a deformable body? After rigid body we will discuss this deformable body. Now see this figure and identify. You can also identify from the figure what is a deformable body. Due to the weight of that particular person, you can identify that rod will bend into the particular manner. So it is not rigid. So deformable body is exactly opposite to the rigid body. A deformable body is defined as a body on which distance between 2 points changes under the action of some forces when it is applied on it. Again we are taking an example of this rod, and we are taking 2 points on this rod, and due to application of an external force in the form of the weight of that human, you can identify body will bend, or that rod will bend in particular manner, which is called as a deformable body. Means distance between 2 points may get changes due to application of an external force, that is called as a deformable body. Now we will discuss stress. What is stress? I think all of you are having little idea about what is stress. See the first figure. In this first figure, this lady is doing lots of works or lots of activities, and due to these activities, if the activities may increases, then what will happen? The workload of that lady will increases, and the capacity of particular day, it may reduces due to lots of activity, and she may causes stress in the form of a headache. This is one of the basic example of a stress. What is stress? To identify the stress, which represents in second figure, due to lots of activity or increasing the workload, you can identify stress will induced into our body in the form of a headache, okay, which represented in first and second figure. Now what this third figure indicates? Stress is the applied force or system of force that tend to deform the body. This human is applying force over this member with the help of the hammer, and due to this hammer or applied force, you can identify deformation in your body, that is called as a stress. Now you can also define stress in different way in case of your strength of a material. Now this is the basic definition of a stress in your strength of a material. What is stress? Stress is defined as when the member is subjected to externally applied load, then the body will try to resist the deformation, and it will try to set up internal resistance force into that body, which is exactly equal to the applied force. P is equal to the R. P is your applied force on your body, and due to application of external applied force, you can identify capital R, which is the resistance force which is set up into the body, which is also known as a resistance force. It will try to resist the deformation, that is called as a stress. This is the another definition of a stress which we will consider in case of a strength of a material. Now see the figure. Figure A represents, we have taken one rod and we are applying tensile load. What is a tensile load? We are applying load with the help of the hand in opposite direction. We are applying two pull in opposite direction, and due to application of a load on the rod, you can identify the stresses. Shape of the body may get changed, and the body will try to resist that externally applied force, that is called as the stress which is developed into the body. In second figure, this second figure represents the compression. We are applying two pull forces with the help of the hand over the member, and that is called as the compression. Figure C represents torsional. We are applying twisting moment to the rod with the help of the hands, and you can identify deformation in the body, and body will try to resist at a particular position, particular situation, to resist this externally applied force, and D is the shearing force. Two equal and opposite forces acting on two different planes is represented in fourth figure, which is represented in shear. Now this stress is denoted by sigma, which is also called as a normal stress, which is represented by using this formula sigma is equal to P by A. P is we can also call this stress as a force per unit area, but which force? This P is equal to R, internal resistance force set up per unit cross section area, is the proper definition of this stress. So sigma is the normal stress. This is the notation for a stress. P is the axial force which is acting over the member, which is equal to the capital R, which is equal to the resistance force, and capital A denotes cross section area where the force is applied. So what is the unit of this stress? P, if it is in Newton, and area it is in meter, then Newton per meter square is the unit of stress. Now what is the classification of a stresses? Main classification of the stress is direct stress, or another name of a direct stress is the simple stress. Second classification, indirect stress, and third one is the combined stresses. Direct stresses is further classified into two subtypes, shear stresses and normal stresses. Normal stresses further classified into tensile and compressive stresses. Indirect stresses subclassification is torsional stress and bending stresses. This classification is further explained with the help of these figures. First is the compression and second is the tension. When we are applying two pull to the component or the body, then the stresses may develop into the component is represented by compression stresses. When two push forces applied on the body, then the stresses will develop into the body, that is represented with the help of the tension or tensile stresses. Shear stresses, two equal and opposite forces acting in one plane, and due to this shearing of the component you can identify into the third figure. And fourth figure, when the member is placed over the two supports and we are applying force on the top side, your member may get deformed, that is called as a bending of your component. Take an example of a column simply supported, not a column, beam. When the beam is supported at two ends and the load is applied from the top, then we can identify due to load your member may get deformed. Then the torsion, twisting moment is applied over the member. This is the main classification of the stresses. Now we will move to the tensile stress. What is a tensile stress? This figure indicates UTM. What is the full form of UTM? Universal Testing Machine. This machine is useful for identifying or calculating the stresses and strain values. So this universal testing machine is useful for variety of a material. You can identify from this figure, this machine is computerized machine and which is having two jaws. Between these two jaws you can clamp your workpiece. After clamping your workpiece, now we are calculating tensile stresses. So we are applying tensile load to this member. After application of a tensile load, tensile force, we are applying tensile load means we are applying gradually increasing load, and due to application of this gradually increasing load you can identify deformation of your component will starts. Then deformation of your component will starts. The force that attempt to pull the part or stretch the material is called as a tensile stress, and due to this application of a tensile forces, stresses is developed into the induced into the component is known as a tensile stresses. This is the basic example of a tensile stress. Now ductile behavior. What is a ductile behavior or what is a ductility? Basic definition. again here, material which undergoes, when we are applying load to the member, then there may be a permanent deformation without fracture after certain period or after certain load. You can identify member will get deformed without fracture, and that is called as a ductile behavior of your material. Ductility is a solid material ability to deform under tensile stresses. Means we are applying tensile load, and due to this tensile load you can identify deformation of a material will occurs. And best example of this ductile behavior is copper wires. When we are applying tensile load to the copper material, then it is possible to draw the thin wires. To draw into the thin wire is the example of a ductile behavior. Now next is the compressive stresses. What is the compressive stresses? We can also calculate this test on a compression testing machine and tensile testing machine also. When the jaw is moving in downward direction, then the compressive forces are applied to calculate the stresses induced into the component. So what are those compressive forces? That compressive forces is called as a two pull applied over the members, and due to application of a two pull forces on the member, your component may get squeezed or compressed due to application of a forces, and member may get fail after certain period of a time. So we are conducting this test, or to calculate the stress value, we are using UTM and compression testing machine, UTM or CHT. What is a brittle behavior? After the ductile behavior, it is necessary to calculate the brittle behavior. What is the brittle behavior? A material is brittle if when subjected to the stresses it breaks without significant deformation. Means early failure of material you can identify due to application of a load. There is no elastic deformation of your material you can identify. Glass is one of the best example of a brittle material. Then brass is another example, or chalk. These are the basic examples of the brittle material. Early failure of a material due to application of a forces is the brittle behavior. What is the Young's modulus? This is the scientist who invented the Young's modulus, Thomas Young's. From his names, Young's modulus, you can identify. Young's modulus is also called as a tensile modulus or modulus of elasticity, which is used to measure the value for elastic material. It is a measure of stiffness of an elastic material. It is denoted by capital letter E. It is the ratio of stress, normal stress to the strain. Young's modulus is equal, it is the ratio of normal stress to the strain, and its unit is Pascal or Newton per mm square. What is shear stress? We have studied tensile stress, compressive stress, normal stresses. Now what is shear stress? Shear stress is denoted by letter tau. And how to calculate this shear stress? Now look at the figure. Lower end of this, now this is the rectangular block. Now lower end of this rectangular block is fixed, and we are applying force at the top surface of this block, which is denoted by red arrow. If when we are applying load or a force with the help of this or top surface of the box, then you can identify one end is fixed and other end is free end we are applying force, and due to this one end is fixed, you can identify shearing of your component, means deformation of your block is denoted by delta L. So due to application of a force, deformation of your block you can identify. So L is the initial length and delta L is the deformation after application of a load. So this shear stress arises from the shear force, the component of the force vector parallel to the material cross section. Means two equal and opposite forces acting on the member in same plane is and due to this two equal and opposite forces, stresses may develop into the component that is called as a shear stresses. It is denoted by tau. What is strength of a material? After discussing different definitions or basic concept of the strength of material, strength is the ability of that particular material to resist the deformation. As we have taken an example of a chair, we have to calculate maximum load carrying capacity of that chair, or we can take a variety of example. We can take an example of a table, or you can take an example of a bridge or any other mechanical component. Means we have to check ability of that particular component, what is the sustainability of that particular component, and this body will try to resist that deformation of that particular application of load is represented by or denoted by strength of that material. The strength of component is usually considered based on maximum load that can be borne before failure. Means we have to identify sustainability of that particular material in the form of maximum load. Means how much is the load, maximum load carrying capacity of that particular component is calculated in this topic. Okay, that is represented by strength of that particular material. What is a Poisson's ratio? This Poisson's ratio is invented by Simons-Poissons. It is the negative ratio of transverse to the axial strain. Now what is strain? When we are applying load to the member, there is a deformation. As we know, deformation, you can identify the deformation in your member. So change in dimension to the original dimension, that is called as a strain. So transverse to the axial strain. Transverse means perpendicular to the axis, and axial, it is along the axis. Transverse strain to the axial strain. Negative transverse strain to the axial strain is denoted by Poisson's ratio mu. Mu is the notation for this Poisson's ratio. When the material is compressed in one direction, it is usually tend to expand in other direction. Take an example of a circular rod, and we are applying tensile load to this circular rod, and due to application of a tensile load, you can identify diameter of the rod goes on decreasing and length of the rod goes on increasing. So decreasing diameter is denoted by negative sign, and increasing length is denoted by positive sign. This phenomenon is called as a Poisson's effect. This is the scientist who invented the Poisson's ratio. Thank you everyone. Thank you.